Hello, students. I'm your teacher, Ms. Guadalupe Diaz. Welcome to fifth grade math. Today, we're diving into engaging with multiplication, whole numbers, and fractions. Ticks covered in this lesson: numbers and operations. The student applies. The student applies mathematically process standards and develop and using strategies and methods for positive rational computations in order to solve problems with efficiently and accurately. The student is expected to represent and solve multiplication of a whole number and a fraction that refers of the same whole using objects and pictorial models including area models. Lesson objectives. The students will be able to identify the components involved in the multiplication problems, the whole number and fractions that refer to the same whole. Illustrate objects and draw pictorial models to represent the fractions of the whole. Describe how they use models specifically to solve multiplication problems. What students? We have a problem solution. We need to find out. Pizza math. How to share fairly. Have you ever wondered how we can use math to share things equally or figure out parts of a whole? Imagine you have a pizza and you want to share it with 5 friends, but each friend can only have half ha, but each friend can only have half of a pizza. How will you figure out how much pizza each person gets? Okay, you guys have I'll give you time to solve this problem. Okay, you're done, students? Pizza math. Guess what, students? We have a problem solution. Pizza math, how to share fairly. Have you ever wondered how we can use math to share things equally or figure out parts of a whole? Imagine you have a pizza and you want to share it with 5 friends, but each friend can only have half of a pizza. How will you figure out how much pizza each person gets? You guys have time. If I'll give you time, guys, to figure out this problem. Okay, students. First clue: calculate individual consumptions. Each person eats 1/2 of a pizza. Multiply this fraction by the number of people to find out the total pizza consumption. Okay, clue 2. Multiply to find total consumption, meaning multiply 1/2 by 5, the number of people, to get the total amount of pizza needed for all 5 people. So 1/2 times 5 equals, what does it equals? 1/2 times 5. Correct. Clue 2. Multiply to find out total consumption, meaning multiply 1/2 by 5, the number. Clue 2. Hmm. Multiply 1/2 as it is as in the problem by 5 the number of people to get the total amount of pizza needed for all 5 people. So multiply 1/2 times 5 equals what? Yes? Correct. Correct. Mm, But if you get if you mul- if you get 5/2, since we multiply 1/2 times 5 equals 5/2, meaning you can order half a pizza, which brings this into to the problem. You have to round up for the order. Clue 3. Round up for order. Mm, Clue 3. Since you can order half a pizza, round up to the nearest whole number. In this case, you will need to order 3 pizzas to ensure everyone gets enough. Yes? Uh-huh. Correct. It's 2.5. But how we got 2.5? You multiply 1/2 times 5 equals 5/2. Now, if you divide that by half, you will get 2.5, which now as I said, clue 3, you have to round up. 2.5, 2.5 rounded up, which it comes to 3 pizzas to ensure everyone gets one. Uh, in 3. Since you can order half of a pizza, round up to the nearest whole number. In this case, since you can order a half, uh, since you can order half of a pizza, round up the nearest whole number. In this case, you will need to order 3 pizzas to ensure everyone gets enough. You guys have time. Figure it out, please. Yes, exactly. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome. Okay. Clue 4. Confirm that ordering 3 pizzas provides enough for each person that has 1/2 of a pizza, meeting meeting the requirements for all 5 people. Okay, okay. Let's move on. Here is a, here is how you solve it. How we solve the problem. Half of a half of a pizza per person times the 5 per friend. Dividing numbers, whole, unit, and fractional parts. Share is to distribute something equally a specific number of people or objects. When it comes to multiplying fractions and whole numbers, you can think of a whole number as being shared equally among the parts defined by a fraction. For example, let's say you have a fraction 2/3 and you want to multiply it by 4, a whole number. Whole number 4 is being shared among the three equal parts defined 2/3. Let's continue. Present real life in multiplying whole numbers and fractions. The concept of multiplication involving a whole number and a fraction can be understood as sharing or dividing a whole into parts. Continue. Let's imagine a whole pizza. If you have the entire pizza, the like having one whole unit, meaning the whole number. Now, if you take one slice out of the 8 slices, that slice represents 1/8 of the whole pizza. Here, one whole number is the whole pizza, and 1/8 is the fraction representing a part of that whole. Meaning, in terms of fraction, the number of slices you have taken, which is one slice, out of the total of the slice, which is 8, can be written as a fraction 1/8. Whole numbers represent the entire pizza before any slice are taken, a complete unit undivided. Fraction represents the part of the pizza you have taken one slice out of the whole 8 slices. Let's continue. Scaling out multiplying whole numbers by fraction. Whole numbers are complete unit. Whole numbers are integers that start from 0 and go upwards 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. They represent complete unit and entities that are counted without considering part of a fraction or fraction. An example, if you have whole numbers are complete unit. Whole numbers are integers that start from 0 and go on upwards 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. They represent completely unit entities that are counted without considering parts or fractions. An example, if you have 3 apples, you have exactly 3 whole apples, not a fraction part or an apple. Fractions is part of a whole representing numerator and denominator. Fractions, on the other hand, represent part of a whole. Numerator top indicates how many parts of a whole you have, while denominator bottom number indicates in how many equal parts the whole is divided. Help in creating scenarios for students to build whole numbers and fractions. Whole numbers represent completely a unit or object. Fraction represents a whole. An example would be, imagine if you have a pizza that is cut into 4 equal slices. If you take one slice of a pizza, you have 1/4 of the whole pizza. Visualize and incorporate different ways of multiplying whole numbers and fractions. When it comes to multiplying, there are many ways you can set up equation depending on what it's asking. A visual scenario that makes it different approaches to multiplying as repeating addition or grouping. Imagine you have a group of 1/3. You have 3 groups of 1/2, which means each group is half of something. To find out how much it is all together. Math in action, multiplying paint coverage for multiplied rooms. Imagine you need to paint a room of each gallon. Paint covers 3/4 of a room. If you of the room. If you want math in action, multiplying paint coverage for multiplied room. Imagine you need to paint a room and each gallon of paint covers 3/4 of the room. If you want to know how many gallons of paint you need for 5 rooms, multiply and express the answer into a mixed number. Show your work. I'll give you time. For the given information is each gallon of paint covers 3/4 of the room. You need to paint 5 rooms. To find out how many gallons of paint are needed for 5 rooms, we'll multiply the fraction that represents coverage per gallon by the number of rooms. Meaning, you will multiply the fraction by the number of rooms. 5 times 3/4. And then you're gonna calculate solution equation we did. So 5 times 3/4 equals 15/4. So we're saying that 15/4 represents the total amount of paint needed in terms of gallons. Now let's express this answer as a mixed number. Convert 15/4 into a mixed number, meaning divide 14 divided by 4 equals a 3 remainder of 3, which it converts in a 3/4. This means your 3 whole gallons and 3/4 of another gallon to paint 5 rooms. Consider each gallon covers 3/4 of a room. Next. Visualize multiplication using area models with whole numbers and fraction. Pictorial models like area. Pictorial models like areas and models. In using area models, a powerful tool of using multiplication of fractions and whole numbers because they might abstract concepts more concrete and provide framework for for students as to have an image and understanding math operations. Visualize multiplication with fractions and whole numbers as is a visual tool. An area model was uses a rectangle to represent numbers. The area of each rectangle corresponds to the value of a number being represented when multiplying a whole number by a fraction using an area model. The whole number determines the total area of the rectangle, and the fraction determines how much of the area is shaded or divided. Area models to visualize and solve multiplication problems and develop the understanding and the fractions and whole numbers interact with multiplication, enhancing both their conceptual understanding and skills in math. Question: how did visual models or manipulative help you understand multiplication of a whole number and factors better? I'll give you time to answer. Yes, correct. Visual models, I could say that visual models and manipulate facilitate deeper understanding for multiplication involving whole numbers and fractions by providing concrete representation, visual relationship, breaking down concepts step by step, and connecting math to real world problems. Understanding multiplication involves whole numbers and fractions extend beyond math. Yes, you may answer. Correct. I'll say multiplication involving whole numbers and fraction extend beyond math class into practical everyday scenarios enhancing problem solving skills, and ensuring accuracy in various contexts. This can you use to multiply whole numbers by fraction with different denominators? You may answer yes. Awesome. Depends on the strategies as you adapt them, and depending on the different specific problems and familiarity with fractions and whole numbers multiplying concept, depends how you guys will apply those strategies on those problems. But it all depends on which it's talking about. Student activity time. Student will get into groups of 4 or 6 and use group station. You guys gonna get in, into 5 people in 3 group stations. Station 1, adopt traditional board games like multiplication race. Station 2, fraction bingo with multiplication problems. Station 3, play a fraction card matching to practice matching multiplication problems. On Station 1, traditional board games race. Decide who's gonna go first. Some rules, take turns rolling the dice and determine how many spaces to move forward on the board, and move second, move your game piece toward the number of spaces indicated by the dice roll. Third, multiply the space, meaning when a player lands on the space labeled with multiplication problem, move forward three spaces, 3 times 1/2. That's an example. They must solve the problem correctly and move forward to the designated number of spaces. In case you guys get confused, when it says moving forward 3 spaces, meaning as 3 times 1/2, it means give the game piece move forward 1.5 speed of the board. Next, player must correctly solve the multiplication problem involving a whole number and a fraction. Proceed, use mental math or paper and pencil if needed to solve these problems. Solutions. If the player solves the problem correctly, they move their game piece forward the number spaces indicated by the number. If the player solve the problem incorrectly, they stay on their current space. Winning game. Excuse me. Winning game. The first meaning the first player to reach the designated finish the line wins the game. Station fraction bingo. You guys are gonna be doing in the table. There's the bingo cards, and decide who's gonna say the cards. The color draws a multiplication problem card from the deck. Reads the problem out loud. They will display the problem on the paper for students to see. Rules are solving the problem. You guys could use paper or do it by mental math. Marking the cards as everyone answers the problem. You guys will mark the answer on your bingo card. You will place one of the figures. You're gonna place it there, and you guys gonna continue doing that, so on and so on, until someone wins. Station 3, fraction card match. Um, Shuffle the deck cards and containing multiplication problems, pictorial models, and the solution card separately. Place the shuffle cards face down in 3 separate rows or piles of on the playing surface. Decide who's gonna go first. Take turns. One each turn, a player flips over 3 cards. One card of the pile of the multiplication problem, one card from the pile of pictorial models, one card from the pile of solution cards. Matching, player attempts to match the multiplication problem and cards with pictorial models and correct solution card. With the correct solution card. Keep the pairs if they answer it correctly. Keep the pairs in if you don't place them back how its original position. And the game continues on until someone wins pairs. Assignments. Your homework is solving equation problems we discussed today. Proper fraction, pictorial models, area models, meaning you guys have to um, multiply, make it into a fraction, do not simplify. And you have to show some drawing models as how you solve each problem, which are 26 questions you have. And that's it for the class. Thank you. I'll see you next